On a tranquil night, Alistair and Ellie discuss a series of attacks by mysterious creatures. Not only do these beings have strange bite marks, but they might also be using the drainage system to move stealthily between packs, causing a series of questions and panic. Welcome to the Alpha's Love channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Chapter 15. Do you have any theories? Did he describe the attacker? Alistair asked. It's definitely the same thing I saw, I answered. The bite is so weird looking. It's circular with puncture wounds. And she mumbled. Did he tell you what it was? Ashley asked. I shook my head. He doesn't know what they are either. Could it be an entirely new species? She pondered out loud. Living in the drainage system. I would think they would have been seen by someone else before now. How often are people working down there? I'm not sure, but I have to think that at some point there's always someone down there between all of the packs. Then how did they get into our territory? Alistair asked. That is the million-dollar question. Could the goddess be punishing us for something? I looked at him like head-to-heads. No, she wouldn't do that. Never. How do you know? Maybe she is upset with us. Artemis wouldn't do that to us. He repeated. Ashley and I looked at each other briefly. Maybe. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. That was a conversation I was not ready to have with the guy I met an hour ago. I took the medallion back and stared at the strange etching on it. Is it the seal for another pack? A rogue pack. I stared out the front doors for what felt like an eternity until I saw the black SUVs and coroner van from Moon Mist pull up in front of the doors. Thank goddess he's here. I left the building, everyone gasping behind me, and met my dad at the first SUV. Dad. He wrapped his arms around me and hugged tight. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Dad, I saw it. I saw the thing. One of the water department guys was attacked. He's inside. He's alive. I nodded. He needs to be quarantined immediately. What, why? We have no idea what those things are, and Harry had a really bad reaction. What happened? I asked quietly. He became extremely violent and began attacking everyone. He wouldn't respond to any commands and we eventually had to restrain him. Do you know why? Dad shook his head. We're not sure if it's just a reaction to medication, if there's something wrong after the bite or something else. That's something. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. So for now we're keeping him restrained and quarantined. Right. That's smart. Where's the body? I pointed down the alleyway. Dad, what? Honey. I think we figured out how they're moving around without being seen. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The drainage system. They connect all of the packs. What? Come inside. We have a map that shows the entire drainage system. Every pack is connected now. That can't be right. He followed me inside to where Alistair was. Beta Alistair. This is my father, Beta Kenrick of the Moon, Miss Pack. Beta Alistair. My father said, extending his hand. Beta Kenrick. Alistair grasped his hand and shook. I understand you've been investigating this situation. I have been. This is the first time they've been spotted, though. Dad looked around the crowded area. Ellie said there's a map of the drainage system. There is. We can go to my office to look at it. Dad nodded and we followed Alistair to a large office with books everywhere. Sorry about the mess. My office looks the same. Dad chuckled. This table should work. Anywhere special you want these? Hun Ashley asked. Dad raised an eyebrow and looked at me. I shook my head and grabbed a handful of the books. No, just anywhere out of the way. Alistair pulled out the map and started laying it out. Okay, so this area is Silver Peak. Our drainage system is the blue lines. He traced his finger to a large black line. What is that? Dad asked. The black line is the main drainage system that connects all of the packs. Here is Moon Mist, Misty Pines, Deer Creek, and Winter Lake. Could they be there? How open are the drains? All of the drains are supposed to be blocked off with iron gates. I don't think the gates are working. Ashley mumbled. I don't think so either. Does anyone here have a clue as to what these things are? Dad questioned. Alistair was about to answer but was interrupted by screams. What the foo? He opened his office door and saw a mass of people running down the hallway. What's going on? Hey you, what's happening? Nobody answered. They ran and screamed. Their screams couldn't drown out the guttural sound of the creature's scream. They're inside. Ashley asked in a whispered panic. There is no way. The pipes that connect the buildings to the drainage system are not big enough to anything besides maybe a rat to get through. There is no way. Alistair closed the door. I need to go out there and see what's happening. I'll go with you, Dad said. Girls, stay here. Dad, I'm not letting you out of here. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Stay put. Dad, no. What are you going to do? You just turned 18. You have no idea how to control your wolf yet. You don't know how to fight. You need to stay here. But Dad, no, but, young lady, I said stay put. I folded my arms in front of my chest and pouted. They closed the door behind them and pushed through the throng of people. I cracked open the door as soon as they closed it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Your dad said to stay put. Dad says a lot of things. I think this might be one of those times you should listen. When have I listened? I glanced back at her. Never, she grumbled. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I whispered, creeping out the door after all the people passed by us. What happened? Dad shouted. Who is that? That is, to my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He's the water department guy who was bitten by those things. Something happened to Charlie, I whispered. What? Ashley asked. I dunno. Let's go see. I peeked around a corner as Dad and Alistair fought against what used to be Charlie. He climbed up the side of a wall, his claws insanely long while screaming at them. His mouth was nothing but the razor, sharp teeth that I had seen in the other creature. Oh my goddess. He turned into one of them. What? He turned into one of those creatures. Kind of. He's super hairy though, like his wolf is coming out. But here's those teeth. What? Come look. A whisper shouted at Ashley. Charlie launched himself off the wall at Alistair, pinning him to the ground. Ashley tensed up and prepared to run out. I grabbed her arm to stop her. He's my mate. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Don't just run out there. What if it bites you? She pursed her lips while I looked around for a weapon of some sort. Alistair yelled out in frustration as he tried to fight off Charlie. My dad attacked from the back, putting him into a choke hold, trying to pull him off Alistair. Charlie let out a scream as he fought them both. I grabbed one of the posts used in lines and crept up on the trio. Dad, duck. Swinging the pole with all of my might. Dad turned to look at me and ducked just as the makeshift weapon made contact with Charlie's head. He went limp and slumped to the ground, making the worst noises I'd ever heard. I told you to stay in the room, Dad scolded. Yeah, and you both would have been bitten. You're welcome. I dropped the pole and stepped back. What happened to him? The bite affected his very DNA. He turned into one of those things. What? How is that even possible? I questioned, stooping next to Charlie's unconscious body. What do we do with him? Is this what happened to Harry? The only place we can hold him with how violent he is the jail cells. I don't think transporting him is possible at this point, Alistair answered. I think you're right. Dad agreed. I'm going to get a few red water samples before he wakes up, though. I want to compare it to the other samples we have. This is nearly identical to what happened to Harry. Alistair left to find officers to help him drag Charlie into a cell while Dad ran out to the SUV for his lab case. This is crazy, Ashley said. Why did they just leave him here? What if he wakes up? I hit him really hard. I don't think he's going to. I pushed him onto his back using my shoe and stooped over him again. I picked up his arm and turned it over to see the wound. It was red and swollen. Stop touching him. What if it gets in you or something? I think you have to be bitten to turn. The medics were touching him and I touched him earlier. I'm fine. She took a few steps back and started pacing around the room. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. What are you doing? Dad, look at the wound. He put on a pair of gloves and picked the arm up himself, poking at the wound. A clear liquid oozed out. Now that is strange. Give me one of the vials out of my kit. I'm getting a sample of this. What do you think it is? He scooped some of the liquid into the small bottle and sniffed it. EW, Ashley cried out. I looked at her and rolled my eyes. We have to figure out what it is. It smells sweet. Sweet. Yeah, very sweet mixed with old red water. Sweet with old red water. Yes, as if he's been dead for a long time. He's not dead though. I watched his chest rise and fall with each breath. No, he's not. Dad tied a tourniquet around Charlie's arm and pushed a needle into one of his veins, drawing out 5 vials of red water. This should be enough. Alistair returned and had his officers drag Charlie to the back where the jail cells were. Chapter 16. Dad stood up and looked at us. I think it would probably be best if you didn't spend any more time here. Move on to Deer Creek and find out what you can there, then hurry to Winter Lake. Why? Those things are here. Dad, they're everywhere. I think your father is right. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Alistair said, emerging from a dark hallway. My love, I would rather stay here, Ashley said, resting her head on his chest. It's not safe here right now. It's not safe anywhere. My love, Dad asked. I leaned toward him and whispered, they're mates. They had the spark. OH. That explains it then. But I don't think I've ever met mates that are as opposite as Ashley and Alistair. He looked at them both and nodded. Congratulations. That is most excellent news. Thank you, Beta Kenrick. I still think that you and Ellie need to leave here though. Immediately. Ashley looked up at Alistair. He frowned and let out a loud sigh. And I still agree. Fine, Ashley said, pouting. We'll leave. Now, Dad urged. Please, before there's another attack. Dad, it's not going to matter. The drainage system is all connected. They'll be able to attack anywhere at any time. Not to mention we have no idea how any of those things there are. It would make your father happy if you would just listen for once. Young pup. I sighed heavily and looked up at him. Fine. Old wolf. Thank you. He wrapped me in a hug and kissed the top of my head. I guess we're going to go now then. Right now? Ashley questioned. I mean if we want to get into a hotel in Deer Creek before it's too late. I'll call ahead. Go to the river bend. It's the nicest hotel in that town and it's not far from where the Beta and Alpha live. I nodded and walked toward the doors. I'll drive you to the hotel. Thanks, Dad. I climbed into the back seat of the and smiled at his driver. Miss Luna. You guys are driving me and Ashley back to the hotel. Dad's coming. Ashley climbed in on the other side and slumped in her seat. So, tell me about it. What was it like? What did you feel? What do you feel now? Oh my goddess. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilby. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It's incredible. I'd never felt like this before. It started as, this weird rumbly electricity feeling in my stomach, and it just spread through my entire body. It was like my soul, my wolf, saw a missing piece of her. Like, we were always meant to be. His scent fills a specific spot right in my soul. I am so jealous. You'll find your mate. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilby. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I can't believe that you of all people wouldn't have a mate. Do you know when you want your marking ceremony? As soon as possible. Right now. I laughed heartily. Unlike what my sister and Alex did, the marking bite is supposed to be a very intimate and personal moment. It's where a wolf is at their most vulnerable. There is usually an exciting party before the couple steals off alone. When the time is right, they mark one another on the neck right, at the crook where your neck meets your shoulder. It signifies the uniting of two wolves into one. Two souls merge to form one union. Something that we crave deep into our wolves, since we are not complete alone. Dad climbed into the front seat with his box of red water. Take us to the Windsor. The girls are going to pack and we're leaving. Yes, Beta. The driver started the SUV and sped the few blocks to the hotel. I'm going to walk them in. Dad, we can walk inside. I would prefer if you just let me walk with you. Okay, Dad. You worry too much there. There are creatures attacking people traveling through the drain pipes and I'm letting you to gallivant all over Goddess creation right after turning 18. I don't think I protect you enough. Perhaps. Let's go. Like you said. Maybe Deer Creek is safer. We walked through the lobby. Everybody huddled in small groups, whispering. Word about the creature got out. I wonder if the other pets know about these things, Ashley said. I imagine they do. People talk a lot. I wanted nothing more than to shower and just go to bed. I knew that wouldn't be possible. I knew Dad wanted us on the road as soon as we'll fly possible. Do you guys have a lot of stuff? No, I didn't even get a chance to unpack. Good. Grab them and let's get to the car. I'll handle checkout. We followed close behind Dad, heading for the parking garage. I'll take care of this then. I'm going back to Moon Mist. Do not stop driving until you reach Deer Creek. Go straight to the hotel until morning. Okay, Dad. I mean it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilby. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Do not go out at night and never alone. I promise I won't. In the morning go right to the Alpha's office and find out if they've encountered anything. Then call me. I nodded and kissed his cheek. I know what to do. Old wolf. Please. Be careful. My young cup. I'll keep her safe. Beta. Ashley smiled. You'll be safe too. Tell my mom and Dad I love them, please. I definitely will, Dad answered. When you get into town, head straight down the main street. When you come to a fork in the road, turn right. You'll run right into the hotel at the river's bend. I guess that is why it's called River Bend. Dad laughed. They're not very creative with names. We walked quietly to the car and sped out of town. The beauty of Silver Peak was quickly behind us, giving way to the wooded country once again. The only densely populated areas were the towns. A few wolves would live beyond town limit, but always within their territory. It wasn't often that wolves traveled beyond their pack lines, at least not those who weren't high, ranking going on pack business. I guess now we were technically on pack business. Do you know how big Deer Creek is? Ashley questioned. No, I don't think it's that big though. I've read it's about the same size as Moon Mist. That's too bad then. I could go for some normalcy. Silver Peak too much for you. I joked. Maybe a little. I guess I should get used to it though, huh? Yeah. I don't think you have much of a choice at this point. I doubt Alistair will give up being beta to move to Moon Mist. She laughed lightly. I wouldn't want him to. He's too good at it. He is very serious. Which I guess it makes sense, and as good he's mated to you. Why you, Ray, not serious? You two balance each other out very well. I suppose I'm not. Should I change that? What now? Never change who you are. You are perfect just the way you are. I love you. And I love you. I smiled at her. Is that it? She asked, motioning to an inconspicuous town in front of us. It's definitely something. I wouldn't say it's another Moon Mist, that's for sure. No way. It's very country. We drove up to the city, slowly. There were no bright lights and shops like Silver Peak. They didn't even have their town hall brightly lit like we did in Moon Mist. Everything was very dark. Where is this hotel? Dad said down the street, right at the fork. You can't miss it at the river bend. Hopefully it's something more than what we've seen so far. Do you think the darkness is because of those creatures? I don't know. Maybe. I guess. I don't even see anyone out on the streets. Everything's closed. It's still kind of early, isn't it? Glancing at the clock on her dashboard. I mean, it's 8:30, so not super late. Maybe they go to bed early. She turned right at the fork and continued to the river bend. The hotel wasn't as big as the Windsor, but it wasn't small. There were no lights on out front and the bellhop was nowhere to be seen. Let's just grab our bags and get inside. I am completely weirded out. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Ashley said. She put the car in park and jumped out of the car, sprinting up the stairs inside. I followed close behind. Hello, I called out, looking around the quaint and very large lobby. Is anyone here? Ashley asked, walking toward a large reception desk. We closed, a voice echoed from somewhere. Beta Alistair from Silver Peak should have called ahead for us. Ashley responded. Silver Peak? No calls. Do I need to call him? I am his mate. We are here on official pack business from Moon Mist. Beta Alistair has no mate. Leave? The voice said angrily. I'm his new mate. We are here on official business. Show yourself immediately before I call him. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Pudgy, balding man appeared from a room behind the desk looking very angry. You're only a little girl. Go away. Don't you know what's out there? Yes, which is why we're here. Now give us the keys to our rooms that Beta Alistair said would be ready. He furrowed his brow and pounded his pudgy sausage fingers on a keyboard before handing us a key. Room 202, second floor. He turned on his fat little heels and scurried back to the room, slamming the door behind him. Well, the manners are lacking in this place. Chapter 17, yeah. Manners are lacking. But why is he acting like that? Could there be attacks? I shrugged my shoulders. That or they've heard about Moon Mist, Misty Pines, and Silver Peak, and act like that. Yeah, he was a bit extreme. Let's settle in and get some sleep. We can find the Alpha tomorrow and get out of here. Hopefully, Winterlake will feel safer. We settled into our room and quickly fell asleep. As the morning sun rose in the sky, the light streamed in through the window directly into my face. I rolled over trying to ignore it, but I was awake. I lay in the bed for a few minutes, wanting nothing more than to be in my own bed. I heard Ashley talking in the bed next to mine. It's too early. I groaned. It's Alistair. This early? Yeah. We need to leave. Leave. To where agent extraordinaire, Myron Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Deer Creek. He said that those things were spotted coming toward here. We haven't even seen the Alpha yet. I mumbled. She whispered into the phone for a few minutes before hanging up. He said to talk with Alpha Charles and then leave immediately and go to Winterlake. This is getting old. I grumbled. I guess Winterlake is actually securing their drainage system to stop those things from attacking people. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Then let's get up and hurry to see the Alpha. I pulled on a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, and pulled my hair into a messy bun. Ashley did the same. Normally when you meet with an Alpha you make sure you're more presentable than t-shirts and messy buns. It's usually a more formal occasion. We were beyond formal at this point. As we entered the lobby, it was empty. There wasn't anyone at the front desk and the doors were shut. Hello. I called out, but nobody answered. Do we search for someone or just go look around? I sighed heavily and rubbed my temples. Let's just look around. This is ridiculous. We left the hotel and started walking down the street. Small cottages and shops lined the streets. They were cute, but not nearly as extravagant as Silver Peak or even some of our own in Moon Mist. Everything was also closed and nobody was outside. Is the entire town shut down? I shrugged my shoulders. As we walked, darkness crept into the edges of my vision. My head swam as I stopped. What's wrong? Ashley asked. I need to sit. Okay, let's find you a bench or something. I shook my head. Nope, right here. I dropped to my knees as the darkness took over. My eyes closed momentarily before I stood back up in the abyss. Artemis appeared in a sudden burst of light. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. What's going on? Time is running out. I know. Those things are attacking more. I saw them. You did. What did they look like? She questioned. I explained everything that happened in the past 2 days, including what the creatures looked like. How bizarre. You don't know what they are? She shook her head. No, I've never seen such things. What do? I don't know how to fight these things. I will ask the others if they know. I nodded. Do you think they'll help? I don't know. Someone had to have created the creatures. I just don't understand why they were attacking my beautiful wolves. I sighed again. I must go. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We're going to keep looking for something. Anything. Artemis nodded as the abyss faded and I could see Ashley's face again. I will never get used to that. Helping me sit up. I groaned and closed my eyes while I gained my bearings. Neither will I. Was it Artemis? I nodded. Does she has any new information now? She's still trying to find out what these things are and who created them. She doesn't know. That doesn't bode well for us. No, it doesn't. Let's just get to the Alpha and get out of here. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfading crescent enthusiasm. We hurried along the road until we found the police station. Hello, I called out. The front desk was empty and the silence was deafening. Hello, I called again. Hi. Can I help you? A woman asked, appearing from a back room. We're from the Moon Mist Pack. Have you heard about the attacks in Silver Peak and Misty Pines? She nodded. That's why the entire town is shut down. We noticed, Ashley mumbled. I elbowed her and smiled at the woman. Would you know where we can find the Alpha? Yeah, he's actually in the chief's office. You can come on back. Great. Thank you. She opened a door and led us to a room surrounded in windows. I could see a man sitting behind a large desk and another man sitting across from him. The woman knocked on the door and opened it a bit. Hey, Chief. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. There are some girls from Moon Mist here. Who are? Oh, she turned to us. Who are you? Eleanor, Beta Kenrick's daughter, Erin Ashley, Gamma Arthur's daughter. The Beta and Gamma's daughters. They hear about the attacks. Oh yeah, let them in. Okay, ladies. Alpha Charles and Chief Bill. Thank you. I turned to the two men inside. Gentlemen, thank you for seeing us. No thank you for coming. What do you know? So far, not much. The creatures are using the drainage system to move amongst the packs, and their bites are turning wolves into whatever those creatures are. What? Alpha Charles stood in shock. We saw that happen in Silver Peak. What do we do? Chief Bill asked. Well, we've just learned that Winter Lake is blocking off the drainage system. How? Alpha Charles asked. That I'm not sure. We haven't been there yet. I do know it will have to be something more than just an iron gate with a lock. They were able to break through that in Silver Peak. What would work? I sat back thinking. What about Silver? Ashley asked. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I don't know. I mean, it works against us, and if they can turn us, maybe Silver would stop them. That's actually a really good idea, Alpha Charles said. Can we get enough silver to make gates and locks for all of the packs? I questioned. We have a silver mine that's halfway between us and Silver Peak. If we ease the production and get help, we could definitely mine enough. We have silver mines? Ashley asked. Yes, our weapons are made of silver. I have seen the silver bullets. My father has some at the house. We don't like using them if we don't have to, but we do if the danger is real enough. I think that danger is real enough. I'll call my father and let him know that you are going to increase silver production. Misty Pines does have a factory. Maybe they can mass produce the gates and locks for now. We'll need the help from all of the packs to protect our realm, Alpha Charles said. Is Kindle Sand on board with everything? I haven't spoken to him myself yet. We have a meeting with him once we get to the Royal City. We will get started on those gates. You two get to Winter Lake. Right. Ashley and I stood, making our way back to the hotel. We quickly packed our bags and dropped the key at the front desk. Hello. No answer. We know you're back there. Our room key is on your desk. We're leaving. We hurried to the car and sped out of Deer Creek, making our way to the Royal City. Chapter 18. Winter Lake was a magnificent city. It was easily 3 times the size of Moon Mist and far surpassed Silver Peak in beauty and charm. Beautiful, old shops and businesses lined the main street. Lights were strung up on trellises in front of the shops, and side streets dotted with beautiful stone homes. All of the buildings in the wolf territory were kept on the smaller side, unlike the human world. It was one of the small ways we were able to keep ourselves hidden. Extra protection in case our barrier didn't work. Obviously, it wasn't working if a dead human was found and these creatures were able to get in. As we drove down the old cobblestone main street, I sat up and inhaled deeply. What is that? What? Ashley asked. That smell. What is that smell? She took a deep breath. Oh, that does smell good. Fresh bread. I shook my head. No, not the bread. The other smell. I don't know. Spicy. Woodsy. It's intoxicating. No. I don't smell anything. Sticking her head out the window and sniffing. How do you not smell that? Stop the car. I need to find that smell. Okay. She pulled the car to the side of the road and put it in park. I climbed out and followed the scent down the road. A large crowd was in front of a bookstore, not far from where we were. What's going on there? Ashley asked. I don't know, but that's where the smell is coming from. You're never going to be able to get in there. I have to try. They must all be trying to buy whatever is making that smell. Maybe it's a winter lake cologne or something. Then why can't I smell it? I shrugged my shoulders and joined the mass of people. Men, women, and children pushed one another trying to get inside, and there was no moving any of them. Damn. Tu m'as agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Let's find King Or Sand and Beta Marsha. Dad should have called their officers to let them know we were coming. Hey, we can come back later. I'm sure you'll be able to find the smell then. I nodded but wasn't so sure. My wolf waned in my head. She wanted in that store desperately. We walked in the opposite direction looking for the police station or anything that would signify a king's office. If you were a king, where would you be? Ashley questioned. Tu m'as agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I probably would be too. Have you ever seen the Winter Lake Castle? I shook my head. I've never been here before. I have seen pictures. I've never seen the actual castle in real life though. Me either. Let's ask and find out. Sounds good. We went into a bakery near the car and meandered around. We picked up a box and put random pastries and bread into it. Oh, grab this. Ashley put a chocolate-covered donut in the box. And this. Hi, welcome to Rose's Bakery. Did you find everything to your satisfaction? An older woman with white hair and tiny glasses asked while wiping her hand on a floral apron. This place is great, Ashley gushed. I'm glad you enjoy it. Everything tastes really good too. We're new here, visiting from Moonmist. We're supposed to meet with King Or Sand. Do you know where his office is? The king, yes. We're Moonmist's Beta and Gamma's daughters. Official business. You know? He should be at Winter Lake Castle. Right. The castle. I glanced at Ashley. It's on the shores of Winter Lake. Thank you. I glanced out the window nervously. The old woman let out a high-pitched laugh. It's not far from here. Just right down the main drag, through a small thicket of trees, and you can't miss it. Great. Thank you. And the library. I'm supposed to meet with an O'Cly. The library. If you turn onto Evergreen Terrace, it'll be the really old, looking grey, stone building. There are large white columns out front. It looks more like a museum than a library. Perfect. And Marsha Brandywine. Beta Kenrick wanted me to meet with her as well. I'm so sorry for all the questions. The woman laughed again. It's not a problem. I'm happy to help. Beta Marsha is usually at the library or the castle. She has an office there to be near the king. They're always in meetings. Good. Good. I paid for the delicacies and we walked back to the car. The smell lingered in the air, but I knew the source of it was gone. Where to first? Let's try the castle. Hopefully, Marcia is there and we can just meet with her and the king at once. Sounds good to me. Ashley drove slowly along the idyllic road through the gorgeous woods and came upon a magical lake. Can this place be any more perfect? I stared, now the gate at the large and imposing castle. Holy shit. Imagine living there. Right. That would be a freaking dream. We drove around the road to the front gates, being stopped by armed guards. Halt. What is your business here? Hi, so we have a meeting with King Orsand and Beta Marcia. We're from Moon Mist helping with the investigation about the creatures. Names: Eleanor and Ashley, Beta Kenrick and Gamma Arthur's daughters. He looked down at his clipboard. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Here you are. He pointed down an extremely long driveway. Go straight until you see the castle. Park to the right, not the left. First spot. The guard at the front doors will show you where to go from there. Sounds good. Thanks, Ashley said. As we proceeded up the driveway, the smell hit me again, but not nearly as strong as in town. I inhaled deeply, feeling my inner wolf stir. She whined loudly, wanting to get to the smell. What's wrong? Ashley asked. The smell that I smelled earlier. Oh, good. Now you can find it. How am I supposed to search a castle? I don't know. I'm sure you'll figure out a way. What if it's your mate? She looked at me with wide eyes and a huge grin. Perhaps. At least having a mate in Winter Lake would mean I get to move from Moon Mist. And you would only be a town over from me, she exclaimed excitedly. That is really close. I agreed. Much better than being hours and hours apart, yes. We can still hang out and get rid of 2 giant fleas that are petulant redwater suckers. I laughed lightly at her description of Alex and Harmony. Remember, the first spot on the right. What would happen if I didn't park there? Ash, come on. Not here. I don't feel like getting thrown in a dungeon because you parked in the wrong parking spot. Yeah, that would put a damper on the day. First spot on the right. We both stared up at the castle for a few minutes before getting out. Honestly, Ashley asked. Honestly, I'm kind of nervous. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'm legit nervous. I'm never nervous. My phone beeped. Where the fuck are you? Are you Kane? What? What does she want? To know where I am? Well, that is none of her damned business. No, is not. I exited the text and walked up the many steps to the castle's front doors. State your business. Hi, Eleanor and Ashley. The man spoke into a radio quietly before opening the door. Take your first right and walk down the hall. At the T, please. Make a left in the first door on your right. We both nodded and walked inside Winter Lake Castle. Oh my goddess. Ashley gasped. That's right. Once you walk through the doors of Winter Lake Castle, your senses are on overload. The walls stretched up for what seemed like forever. The soft golden color walls were adorned with paintings of the royal family dating back to our first king. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Dark corridor on the left stretched to the back of the castle. Down the creepy hall. Ashley asked. We walked along, staring at the suits of armor that lined the corridor. The hallway was lit with torches, casting eerie shadows, making the armor almost look alive. This is incredible, Ashley gushed. Yeah. I inhaled deeply, the smell growing stronger. I felt a weird stirring deep in my stomach. It was overwhelming, invading all of my senses. What is that smell? I still don't smell anything. It's absolutely maddening. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I turned to the right, following my nose. Ashley grabbed my arm and dragged me to the left. To the left. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The smell is to the right owner. I don't want to be thrown in a dungeon. I groaned and followed her to the first door on the right. I knocked and waited for an answer. The door creaked open and a tall man stood before us. Eleanor and Ashley. We both nodded. He opened the door wider and stood to the side. King Orsand and Beta Marcia are awaiting you. We walked into the room wide-eyed. There was a large fireplace against the wall in front of us and a large mahogany desk next to yet another door. The walls were painted a deep red with dark paneling below. The room was beautiful. Please, through the door. He motioned to the door beside the desk. We entered the king's inner room and saw him hunched over an even larger desk. A woman sat opposite him, her arms flailing in the air as she argued with him. Orsand, listen, we need to do something. We need to do something about everything. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Yes, but Edmund needs to find a mate. He's nearly 19. Marcia, don't you think my subject being attacked and in danger is more important? Plus, he's only 19. He's still a pup. Have you seen the way he's been behaving lately? A future king needs to be mated. If he doesn't find his mate, you have to force him to mate with someone before he becomes dangerous. No, Marcia, I'm not doing that. Orsand, what happened with King Henry? That was extenuating circumstances. He went mad and massacred half of Misty Pines. He sighed heavily. I know. Gamma's daughter turns 18 next week. If he doesn't find his mate by then, and she doesn't mate, I don't know what else we can do. Orsand, we can give the boy time. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I mean, Goddess, he's only 19. Orsand. Henry, we don't need another Misty Pines incident. That was hundreds of years ago, and every king and future king has found their mate by 19. We'll have one more ball to see if he finds his mate and then it'll be forced. Now can we focus on how to protect our people? Ashley nudged me as King Orson looked up. Oh, ladies, I do apologize you had to hear that. Please, come forward. Thank you for seeing us. Your Majesty, Beta Marcia, we truly appreciate it. You're Beta Kenrick's daughter, Beta Marcia asked. I nodded. You look so much like him. Except for the hair. That is quite unique. Oh, yeah. My grandmother had silver hair. I pushed it off to the side, forgetting about my mark. Come forward, King Orsand commanded, standing from his desk. I looked at Ashley nervously. She just shrugged. I swallowed hard and approached our king. He moved the hair out of my face and tilted my head up, examining my forehead. That is an interesting mark. Have you always had it? I shook my head. It appeared on my 18th birthday. Not a lie. That is when you got it. He doesn't need to know the entire Artemis backstory. Marcia, look at the mark. She stood and stared at it for a moment before her eyes went wide. Oh, my goddess. Give me a second. She hurried from the room, returning a few minutes later with a thick, leather-bound book. She flipped through until she stopped on a page with an image of my mark. The crescent moon and the mark of Artemis. Ori. Trying to sound surprised. How fascinating, Beta Marcia said. Has anyone investigated that? I shook my head no. The attacks happened shortly after my birthday, so this has been what we've been focusing on. Right. The attacks. What has your father found out? Not much as far as what they are yet. He's still running tests. I saw them when I was in Silver Peak. You saw them. I nodded. They are not normal. The creatures have no hair, pointed ears, red water, red eyes, and their mouths are full of razor, sharp teeth. Fascinating, King Orsend mumbled. The creatures attacked and bit one of the water department men. The bite ended up turning him into some sort of hybrid creature. He was a wolf, but also whatever that thing was. It turns us. I nodded. And Deer Creek is already creating silver gates and locks to block off the drainage system. Silver gates and locks. Why, they were able to break through the gates and locks in Silver Peak. Those were made of iron. We thought maybe they would be susceptible to silver. That is a really good idea, Marcia said, nodding along. Can they produce enough for everyone? I believe so. Between Deer Creek mining the silver and Misty Pines manufacturing the gates and locks, there should be enough to block off the drainage system. Good. Good. That helps with the protection. How do we defeat them? That I don't know. I was hoping we could get into the library and research. Maybe we can find something. Yes, yes. That could work. King Orsend rubbed his temples. I'll work with our troops to ensure they have enough weapons and are preparing for an invasion just in case, Marcia said. Good. I'll keep in communication with the alphas of the packs. Ashley and I stood up. We'll head to the library. One thing. We're having a ball tomorrow. You ladies are to attend. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Your Majesty, thank you. We turned toward the door, but he stopped us again. Where are you staying? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We don't know yet. We just arrived in Winter Lake and I haven't found a hotel yet. Good. You'll stay here. Plenty of room. Here. As she stammered. Is that okay? Would you prefer a hotel or somewhere else? No, she said quickly. No, Your Majesty. You're most kind. I never expected to stay in Winter Lake Castle. Anything for the girls, risking everything to help their realm. We appreciate everything you have been doing. Thank you, Your Majesty. We hurried from the room, giddy at the fact we were going to stay in the castle. As we approached the front doors, one of the butlers stopped us. Ladies, please follow me. Oh, where? To your quarters. We need to get our stuff, Ashley said. That is already taken care of. Please, follow me. He bowed in an exaggerated fashion and held out an arm pointing in the direction. Okay, we followed the man down the long, golden-colored hallway, into a large room with a grand staircase in the center. Rooms lined the sides of the staircase leading to who knows where. We followed him up, the smell growing incredibly strong. We rounded a corner and nearly collided with a tall, statuesque blonde girl. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She snipped. Pardon us, Savannah. The man again bowed, but this time he nearly bent himself in half while extending both of his arms out. That is future queen, she snapped back at the butler. Ma'am, you are not yet mated with the prince. It would be inappropriate of me to address you as such. Then you can call me princess. I do beg your pardon, but I cannot. You are not mated to the prince. She stuck her nose in the air, huffed, and stomped away. Well, she's pleasant, I muttered. She is the Gamma's daughter and who is being pushed for the prince to force mate. He visibly shuddered as we kept walking. Oh, she would be our future queen. She stuck her tongue out. Yes, so we are hoping that the next ball the prince finds his mate because we do not want her as I do apologize. I should not say such things. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We may be high-ranking daughters, but we do not have the same thoughts as our fathers. Open communication is always a good thing. The butler nodded and smiled slightly. Here are your quarters. Ladies, please, do not hesitate to call out if you need anything. Who should we call out for? Ashley asked. Yes, madam. Great. Thanks. The library. What is the quickest way to the library? I can arrange transportation for you. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. That would be wonderful. A car shall be ready in about 20 minutes. He hurried away as we entered the room. Ashley and I gasped. There were 2 large beds to the left side and a roaring fireplace to the right. The far wall was floor, too, seeing windows overlooking Winter Lake with a pillow, covered window seat. I think I've died and gone to heaven. This is insane. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Walking to the windows. Look at this view. Can we just stay here forever? I wonder if Alistair can bait a silver peak from this room. Ashley wondered out loud. I'd be amazed here if it meant I got this room. We unpacked our things, waiting for the butler to let us know the car was ready. Chapter 19. We have a lot to do first, Ashley said, grabbing her bag. We should head outside for the car. I guess. My wolf whined. She wanted to find it too. Come on. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I sighed and followed Ashley out the door, running right into Savannah. Oh, excuse me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Brushing myself off. Oh my, goddess, do you not have eyes? Can you not see someone walking? What is wrong with you? She screeched. Well, okay. Rude, Ashley said, pulling the door shut. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Do you have any idea who I am? Who the hell are you that you're in my castle? I stared wide-eyed at the insane girl in front of me. I missed when Queen Amelia stepped down and promoted some mangy mutt. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She screamed. What did you say? You heard me. You need to watch your tone. Tup, I growled. I will not tolerate disrespect from someone of lower status than myself. You will watch your tongue and mind your place. My place. Do you know who my father is? Or my future mate? I will have you banished. My eyebrows arched. You should check who you are speaking to in the future. I turned on my heels and walked away from the bleach blonde mess that stood outside my door. Her gums flapped as we ignored her temper tantrum. Phil ran up the stairs to us, his eyes wide. What happened? That ridiculous girl needs to learn manners. And to know who she's talking to before she starts her banshee screeching. I am so sorry about her. She's a bit incorrigible since her father and the beta have been pushing kind or sand to force the prince to mark her. Let's hope that he meets his mate. Hopefully sooner rather than later. She turns 18 soon. Then it's happening. I shook my head and walked to the front door. Is the car here? Mern. The driver will take you anywhere you need to go. Thank you for your help. Anytime. He turned to leave but paused. If you ladies are planning on going to the ball tomorrow and don't have a dress, Sheila's in town has beautiful gowns. Oh, gowns, Ashley exclaimed. I love fancy gowns. Yeah, I guess we should get something. We climbed into the black town car and told the driver where we were going. He sped down the long driveway, zipping through town until he reached a large building that looked like a museum rather than a library. Ashley leaned over me and stared up at the old, stone structure. Large, arch-shaped windows stretched upwards, covered in stained glass that depicted scenes from the history of wolves. The library, the driver announced. It's impressive. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Admiring the columns out front and the expansive staircase. It is the largest library in our realm. It also houses the greatest and oldest treasures of our history. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He nodded at me, looking in the rearview mirror. There is a vault in the basement. Ask Kenny about it. There are some very ancient books and relics in there. It's very cool. I'll remember that. We climbed out of the town car and made our way to the front door. My calves burned as the never-ending steps stretched to the heavens. Oh my goddess, why are there so many? To deter people from ever reading. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Pausing to take a breath. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We can make it. We're young, Ashley grunted. Finally reaching the front doors, I tugged on the heavy wood. Cool air rushed out as the smell of paper and leather invaded our nostrils. There might have been lights on, but you couldn't tell. The vast number of windows let in enough light to show every part of the building. Bookcases went floor to ceiling in the center of the library. A large desk, covered in books, sat not far from the entrance. Can I help you? A thin, middle-aged woman asked, popping up from behind a stack of books high. We're looking for Annie. Well, you found her. How can I help you? Hi, Annie. We're from Moon Mist. Dean Anderson told us to come to find you when we got here. Dean Anderson. Well, Dean. And you are. She looked at us from over top of her wire-rimmed glasses, raising her eyebrows. Oh, sorry. We should have introduced ourselves. I'm Eleanor, Beta Kenrick's daughter. This is Ashley. She's Gamma Arthur's daughter. Oh yes, you're the two helping with the creature investigation. Yes, I left. That's us. Well, why didn't you say so? Come on. I already have a bunch of stuff pulled out that can help. Perfect. Would we be able to see the vault after we're done? To my agent extraordinaire, Mylin Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. That's where we're heading. I know this place inside and out. Nothing up here will help with what you need to find. It won't. She shook her head no. We've never heard of anything like this, so there may be better information in our ancient tomes. I nodded and followed her to a back corner of the large room. She moved a tapestry to the side, revealing a small archway leading down an arched corridor to a narrow, stone staircase that spiraled downwards. Torches lined the ancient pathway as we descended. Forgive the crude lighting. We don't come down here much, so we never bothered upgrading the staircase lighting. No worries. It adds to the mystery. She laughed lightly. We hope it discourages people from wandering down here if they manage to find the corridor. We stopped at the bottom, old cobblestones beneath our feet, as Annie switched to light switch on. A hum filled the air as yellowish light flooded the area. A large vault door stood open with various books and papers scattered on the few tables. This is what I've pulled so far. It's not much, but it's a good place to start. These look so old, Ashley said quietly, moving from book to paper. It is very old. Some of these are a few thousand years old. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Annie nodded. So be careful with them. I can't leave upstairs unattended, but the phone on the wall connects with the desk directly. If you need anything, call me. She smiled and spun on her heels, vanishing up the stairs. Where do we start? Ashley asked. I guess at the beginning. I sat at the table nearest me and started browsing the first book. We spent hours reading various documents and historical references with no mention of these creatures. My eyes hurt and I was about to give up. Hey, this is interesting, huh? I asked absent-mindedly as I read through another ancient document. This story here. It's pretty interesting. What is it? It's about the birth of Artemis and her parentage. The goddess being born. I always thought they just were. Apparently not, and it's like really messed up. I stopped reading and looked at Ashley. My interest piqued. It's kind of convoluted. So Artemis's mother is Leto. Her father is Zeus. I thought Zeus was partners with Hera. He is. Zeus didn't exactly keep it in his pants. He pursued Leto, and she ended up pregnant with Artemis and her twin brother Apollo. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Well, Hera had a huge problem with this situation. I could imagine. So she decided to take it out on Artemis. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Why Artemis? Well, as it turns out, Zeus was fond of his illegitimate daughter. He favored her even over his daughters with Hera. Oh yeah, okay. So with that information, could Hera have figured out some way to attack Artemis through us? It is possible, I guess. But why us? Why thousands of years later? It seems that Hera doesn't usually go to the source of her anger and she holds a grudge. So what better way at attacking Artemis than the closest she'll ever get to having children? But the creatures, I don't know about those yet. Either way, can we take a break and come back? I need sunlight. I do too. Ash, how about we go dress shopping? Yes. I want something incredibly gorgeous. Me too. Let's let Annie know we'll be back in a few days and get out of her eyes. We ascended the staircase and went to find the librarian. Girls, how was your research? Insightful, Ashley said. We're going to head out. We need a break. I know there's the ball thing tomorrow, so we'll be back in 2 days. Sounds good. Should I leave everything out for you? Yes, please. Are you making progress? She queried. We're learning a lot about Artemis, our goddess. Do you think she has anything to do with this? Annie questioned. I don't know, but we don't want to rule out anything yet. That's smart. I'll leave everything as it is. We waved as we exited the library, making our way to the town car, ladies high. So, could you take us to Sheila's? We need gowns for the ball tomorrow. Absolutely. Ma'am. The driver started the car and maneuvered around a few streets before stopping in front of the cutest shop I had ever seen. Lights outlined the building and flower boxes on the windows had beautiful pink and red roses. I love this place already, Ashley said, climbing over top of me. You have a door. Don't care. Let's go, she urged. We'll be right back. Thank you so much. The driver nodded and watched us out of the car. Inside the shop, soft music played as the low light made the dresses covered in precious stones glitter and dance. As I walked past a rack of dresses, I could smell a delectable aroma of coffee, Hi, ladies. Welcome to Sheila's. Can I help you? Yeah. We're looking for gowns for the ball tomorrow. Oh my. So last minute. She exclaimed. I know. We just found out about it today. You came to the right place then. Let's get you into the perfect gowns. Great. She grabbed our hands and led us to seats at the back of the shop and bought us spots of coffee before she started bustling about the shop, going from rack to rack. She'd come back periodically and look at various features. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Yes. She walked briskly to the wall on the right, pulling a green gown off the wall. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She took the cup from Ashley and shoved the dress into her hands. Ushering her into the changing room, the woman hurried around pulling random dresses off of racks before putting them back. She exclaimed loudly. This is the one for you. She came back and shoved blue fabric into my arms while ushering me to a changing room next to Ashley's. Let me know what you think, she said as she walked out of the area. That was so bizarre, Ashley said. Yeah, it was. How's your dress? She wasn't wrong. It is great. I heard her door swing open as I was stepping into my own dress. Mine's really pretty. I opened the door and gasped at the sight of Ashley. She had on a green taffeta ball gown. It was strapless with a full skirt. The bodice laced up the back with satin ribbon covered in red rubies. The front of the bodice was overlaid in black lace stretching to the waistline. Wow, Ash. Wow me. Wow you. I looked in a full-length mirror on the opposite side of the room and was stunned. I had never worn such a fine gown in my entire life. The light blue organza dress hung off my shoulders while the bodice hugged tightly to my upper body and hymens. The skirt of the gown pulled out with the many layers of tulle in various shades of blue and white. The back laced up with a white satin ribbon. Yeah, this is the dress. We changed back into our regular clothes and went to the counter with our gowns. And she asked. They're perfect. Ashley gushed. Good. She left the counter and went to the shoe wall. Now, shoes. She returned with a pair of green stilettos that matched Ashley's dress color and a pair of white ones for me. Now it's perfect. She beamed. We paid for our ball outfits and left the town, heading back to the castle. I am so hungry. Me too, I said mid-yawn. Hopefully we can just eat and go to bed. I am really excited about the ball tomorrow. I've never been to one. Me either. Dad always comes to them, but since we weren't 18 he said we couldn't go. EW, do you think Harmony and Alex will be there? My eyes shot open. Oh my goddess. I didn't even think about those two freaks. I hope not. Chapter 20. What do I do if they show up? Just stay with me. I need to find out if Alistair is coming, Ashley said. I'll stay with you guys. I chewed my bottom lip for a second. Maybe we can get dinner in our room. I'm wiped. Me too. The thought of having to face Harmony and Alex again made my stomach hurt. I knew I had to come to terms with what happened, even if it just felt like rubbing salt in the wounds. I stared out the window of the car as the driver zoomed around the streets back to the castle. The sky darkened by the time we returned, and the soft glow of light shone down on the driveway. We both climbed out and reached for our bags. I can grab those, the driver said. Thank you. The thought of climbing into bed was more and more appealing. Welcome there, Phil said, opening the doors. Hi, thanks. Did you go to Sheila's? He questioned. Yes, thank you for the recommendation. They are amazing there. The ladies' packages, the driver said, entering behind us. Thanks, Bruce. You can leave them there. We'll have them taken upstairs. Great, thanks. Hey, Phil. Yes, ma'am. You can call me Ashley. Is there any way we could get a snack or something? We have dinner warmed up and waiting for you both. Where would you like to eat? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Our room would be great if that's possible, I answered. Right away. Ma'am. Oh, it's Eleanor. Well, to my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You can call me Ellie. He smiled and nodded before snapping his finger, summoning even more butlers. These parcels are to go to the guest room. He turned to a woman standing next to him. And dinner will be taken there as well. Please, be sure it gets to them in a timely manner. The woman nodded and hurried into the depths of the castle. Ladies, please relax and enjoy yourself until dinner is brought up to you. You're awesome. Ashley smiled at him before running up the stairs. Hey, Phil. Yes, Ellie. That smell. What is it? He inhaled deeply and looked at me inquisitively. What smell? How does nobody smell that? Can you describe it? It's kind of hard to. It's like this musky, spicy, sweet, intoxicating smell, and that is curious. I don't smell anything like that. I sighed and shrugged my shoulders. Maybe I still just need to get used to this wolf nose of mine. Thanks anyway. I started to follow Ashley but stopped. The smell was almost overpowering. I have to find it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It's driving me absolutely insane. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. If it's here, then let's go look around. We started walking down a long, dark corridor before Phil stopped us. I do apologize, but that area is off limits to guests. Oh, I furrowed my brow. The smell was down there. Ashley turned toward the stairs. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I trailed behind her up the stairs to our room. Our dresses were hung up near the closet and our shoes were placed on the floor. I sat next to Ashley as she flipped through a streaming service, looking for a movie to watch. Our food arrived just as she found the perfect movie, some rom-com about princes and princesses. We ate until we felt like we would burst and quickly fell asleep. It was a surprisingly restful sleep. I awoke the next morning to the sound of pounding from somewhere within the castle. I climbed out of bed, rubbing my eyes, and noticed that our dirty dishes were gone and the dresses were fluffed. Was someone in the room this morning? I asked Ashley. She sat up, her hair wild and messy, and looked about. Yeah. The plates are gone. How they were really quiet. Yeah. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She looked around again. What is that pounding? No idea. That's what woke me up. I climbed out of bed and walked to the windows, throwing open the drapes. The morning sunlight streamed into the room. The sky was a beautiful pinkish purple. It looked like a painting. I think it's going to be a beautiful day. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Pushing the window open. The air was warm and smelled of honeysuckle mixed with lilac. Yeah, I could get used to living here, Ashley said, a smile plastered on her face. Did you get a hold of Alistair? I sent him a text. He's coming. Apparently, everyone of importance will be here tonight, including the two shitheads. Awesome. Well, Let's just hope that the prince finds his mate. I guess they're really pulling out the big guns for this one. If nobody likes this savannah, why are they forcing the mate then? I guess she's the next high-ranking daughter available in Winterlake. I shook my head. They should just let him be until he finds his mate. What if he ends up running into her later? He can't break the mate bond. That will kill them both. Ashley shrugged her shoulders. It's seriously messed up. What do we do? About the force mate? I nodded my head. I'm not sure. I mean, what can we do? Find his mate. She has to be out there, right? Obviously. It's not this horrid girl that they found. Marcia really likes her. Does she though? Or is she more concerned with the prince going foul? It could be that. Having a feral prince wouldn't be good. Has there ever been a feral royal before? I don't know, she answered, shrugging her shoulders again. So we do what we can to find his rightful mate tomorrow. I stared at a mirror that was tacked to the wall. What do we do about her hair and makeup? Do we do it ourselves or see if there are stylists who can do it for us? Oh yeah. She stood next to me staring at her reflection. I don't know about you, but if this gala is as big as they say it's going to be, I'm going with someone doing my hair and makeup for me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfading prescience, enthusiasm. So, let's go find someone. I nodded and pulled on a pair of shorts and a long-sleeved t-shirt. We roamed the castle, the smell not as strong as it had been the night before, looking for someone who could help us. Good morning. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Queen Amelia, Your Majesty. Good morning. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Startled. She laughed lightly. How was your stay with us? Please, have a seat. She motioned to a settee across from her chair. Thank you. Ashley and I both sat down, staring at the elegant woman who watched us. She was definitely not in queen mode this early in the morning. She didn't have on any makeup and her long, curly red hair was piled atop her head, messily, in a clip. She wore a tanked top and running pants with a pair of running shoes. Do forgive my appearance. I usually go for a run in the morning. Normally, I'm the first up. You look lovely, Ashley said. Oh dear girl, I look dreadful. I would have been finished and changed by now if Edmund wasn't throwing a fit this morning and storming out of the castle. Oh, she shook her head. I shouldn't discuss such things. It's not your burden to bear, but he's not happy with the fact that the council is forcing him to mate next week if he doesn't find his mate. I've heard of the predicament he's in. That is quite unfortunate. I feel for my son. That's why we're still having the gala tonight despite everything going on in the realm. We want to give him at least one more chance to find his birthmate before the forced mate. Why is he being forced? I questioned. The queen closed her eyes and sighed heavily. With the kings of the Lycans, they need their mates. Once we turn 18, there are all sorts of changes that we start to go through. We learn to live with our wolves, who tend to be rather anxious and unruly until they find their mate. Kings and alphas tend to be even more unruly the longer they go without their mate. In some extreme cases, they may even turn feral. Unfortunately, Edmund is being rather awful recently, so he's being forced. That's so sad. The queen nodded before stopping and homing in on my head. Is everything okay? Come here, she said quietly. I stood and approached the woman. She motioned for me to kneel down. I did as commanded. The queen pushed my hair to the side and pulled my head closer to her face. Fascinating. What is? Ashley asked. This marking, it's a moon at the bow. Symbols of the goddess Artemis. Yeah, appeared on the night of my birthday after my first shift. And nobody was curious about this. They were, but then the attack started, so I think it was just forgotten. If you don't mind my observation, you were touched by the goddess. You have no idea. That is interesting. To my agent extraordinaire, Marilyn Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Camille will excuse me. I actually think I have a book that mentions something about this marking. I would like to see if I can find it. To my agent extraordinaire, Marilyn Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Oh, do you know anywhere we can go to get our hair and makeup done for tonight? Absolutely. If you walk down that hallway, she pointed to a long bridge, like hallway that connected another portion of the castle. My personal stylist, Vince, has a salon. He's wonderful. He'll be able to help you both out. Your personal stylist. You're allowing us to use your personal stylist? Ashley asked in amazement. Yes, my dear. Enjoy yourself. She winked at us and walked quickly towards the main entrance of the castle. That was strange. Yeah, she has her own stylist that we can use. Ashley gushed, walking toward the bridge. Know that she has a book that mentions the mark. I haven't found anything that specifically mentions the mark being on anyone, just what it is. Ashley shrugged. I'm sure she'll tell you if it turns out to be anything. Let's go. I stood and followed to the new section of the castle. The bridge stretched over an oval, shaped pond. I peered down to see the largest, most colorful fish I had ever seen. They swam about, leaping from the water and twirling in the air before landing back down. Yeah, this place is incredible. The salon was just on the other side of the bridge and was the most elegant I had ever seen. Wow, I said, walking through the door. Hello, can I help you? Eamon asked, walking out from a back area. How we Ray, Ashley and Ellie. The Queen sent us for help. For tonight, we're visiting from Moonmisto. The girls helping with that dreadful investigation of all the nasties that are attacking everybody. That's us. Well, anyone sent from the Queen and who are trying to save us all from utter destruction are welcome in my salon. I'm Vince. Let's make you to even more beautiful than what you are. It should be fun tonight. We've been hearing that, I muttered, sitting in one of the chairs. He led Ashley to a sink and had her sit down before putting a cape on her. He leaned her back, chatting away about the excitement of having so many people showing up for the big blowout gala while washing her hair. I watched out the windows as horses and cows ran through the pasture next to the castle. Birds were singing and everything seemed perfectly normal, just the way it was supposed to be. Just as Vince was leading Ashley to the chair next to me, the door flew open and the Queen stood there. Your Majesty, he exclaimed. Ashley and I both stood and curtsied. Majesty. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I found it. Found what? The passage. In the book, I knew had seen that mark before. She crossed the room in just a few strides, dropping down next to me. See. I looked down at the ancient book in her hands. It wasn't very big, but the pages were worn and the leather cracked. In the middle of the page was an image of a girl with the same marking on her forehead that I had. And the girl, she looked eerily like me. What is this? A book that's been passed down in my family for many generations. My great-great-great-great-great-great priestess in the Temple of Artemis was her daughter, and her daughter until my grandmother. This book, this is one of our most sacred texts. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Now this image is the foretelling of one who will save our realm alongside her mate. They are the two most powerful wolves who, when together, enhance even their wolf senses. They are an unstoppable pair that will defeat an incredible evil and rule over all in peace and harmony. That is incredible. Who were they? That's just it. This is a prophecy that hasn't come to be. Yet, Ashley asked. She and Vince were hovering over our shoulders, staring mouths agape. Not yet. Queen Amelia turned back to me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Dear, are you mated? I shook my head no. She just stared at me. What? She just stared. No. Your Majesty, you couldn't possibly think that she nodded her head. I'm not mated though. And it's just some weird mark that I got. On your 18th birthday. When you shifted for the first time. I guess. I mean, no, it's just not possible. I'm just a beta's daughter. Just a beta's daughter. Ashley asked yes. I shot her a look to just shut up. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The Queen asked her. Have you ever met Prince Edmund? I shook my head. No. I mean, I saw him at my party. Did you feel anything? I saw him before I turned. Interesting. Tonight, at the gala, you will meet him. You don't think she nodded her head? I do very much. She turned to Vince. Make sure they both look perfect. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Your Majesty. She slammed the book shut and left the room, laughing to herself, proud of her discovery. I sat in shocked silence while Ashley and Vince stared at me. What? Ashley asked. This is insane, he exclaimed in excited glee. What the hell just happened? I think the Queen wants you to be mated to the prince, Ashley exclaimed. That's just not possible. No, oh my God. What if you're the princess? The future queen. Ashley squealed. No, yes. I pondered in silence as the stylist finished Ashley and took his time ensuring every part of my hair and makeup was absolutely perfect. My mind raced the whole time. I let Ashley make the decisions as I tried to comprehend that the Queen thought that I was her son, the prince's mate, and that we were supposed to fight this evil together. It's just a book. Just a book. That happened to have your picture in it. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode of the story, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to get notifications for updates.